the ultimate beginner's guide for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader Early Alpha. Let's not waste time, let's go.
Are you ready for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader? Because I am. The Emperor protects.
One thing you should have in mind before we start with this is early alpha. Everything can change along the way. Some of the things like momentum and how combat is, that's gonna probably remain the same, it's only gonna get better. But we are here to learn all new skills, words, how the game works, what's momentum, what's trading, what is the main currency, basic stuff. So you can be more familiar with 40k. It's a different game than Wrath of the Righteous. Footfall here in Puribundus sector is where you're gonna trade. One trader would be in Liege residence, one trader is in the atrium, one trader is in the bar, and one trader is in the docks. So you got 4 factions, 4 different traders. In the bottom right corner, where it says 45, it can go up, like I finished it with above 100 profit factor, but basically profit factor is your currency and it refreshes through cycles, or better to say, it refreshes as time goes by, as you traverse and explore the universe. Profit factor depends on a lot of different things, how many colonies you got, what rewards you take, and so on. So as you can see here, you are buying weapons, armor, bombs, utility items with profit factor, and it says how much it costs over here. Now what is RP? RP is reputation. Alright, there are factions in the game. Right now there's 4: Drusians, Explorators, Kasbalika Mission, and Fellowship of the Void. And you build up reputation with them. Once you build up enough reputation, this tier from 1 will scale up to 2, and what happens is they're gonna unlock the second tier of what they can sell. Alright, this is tier 1. It can unlock tier 2, and then you buy them. There's tier 4, tier 5, tier 6, and so on. Better and more powerful gear is unlocked. Now how do you get reputation points? Reputation points you get by selling gear in bulk. Most of the gear is worth 0 profit factor, but when they're like this in bulk and when you sell them, you gain reputation points that will unlock new items to buy with PF, with profit factor. And that's how the game works. The very important thing, what to say here, every trader wants different stuff. Some of them will pay more for Xenos items, alien items. Some of them will pay more for weapons, ranged weapons. Some of them will want armor. Some of them will want cargo, and so on. All in all, pay attention what you sell to what trader. Right now in early alpha there's 4 traders. The most important items to buy right now on the run. The number 1 is Mobile Extracticum. This is the most important thing to buy. Why? Because you dig resources with Mobile Extracticum when you discover planets. After Mobile Extracticum, it's grenades, Melta charges. Melta charges are for exploration to break doors, chests, and so on. Multi-key, so you can unlock locked things, locked doors, locked chests. And of course here in usable items, grenades. All type of grenades are extremely important during combat, as well as medkits. That would be it about trading for now. I hope I made myself clear. Minimap and how you use minimap during exploration. Just make sure that every small little corner is covered and that you venture with your team into every small little corner, because they might spot hidden stuff, hidden items, hidden doors, hidden loot. Make sure that you walk on every corner, on every part of the map, no matter what map you're exploring. On the world map, universe map, Colonies Expanse map, whenever you reach a new sector, system, call it however you like, always scan to get +1 to navigator points. Purple skull down there are your navigator points. Now, what are navigator points? With navigator points, you can jump to specific areas that you scanned when there is no route, like you see here, yellow lines, green lines, orange lines. Okay, what you do basically is you use navigator points, you charge the course for 3 navigator points anywhere on the map. This is also the way how to stop invasions, how to reach the quest in time, quest objective in time, and so on. So we can pick anywhere that we like that was discovered by scanning. We chart the course, and now it's a red line, okay, from our ship, our sector where we are right now, and it's a red line to the course that we charted. We reduce the difficulty once with a navigator point, twice to make it yellow. Now you can travel. You don't need to rush for green. Green is like mega safe. You can always traverse warp on yellow. Once you visit the sector, I told you that Extracticum is the most important thing. All you need to do is reach the planet, scan the planet, and once you scan, if it allows extraction, this is when you're gonna use mobile Extracticum. That's why I say buy it non-stop. What happens when you start extracting? You extract resources, and you need resources to upgrade your colonies. Okay, there are a lot of different resources. The only way to get those resources is through mobile Extracticum. Once you upgrade your colonies, planets that you set free, let's say, that you conquered, then you go with these resources that you got down here to upgrade and get specific benefits. Okay, bigger profit factor, loot, efficiency, more mining, security, everything that you can imagine from that real-time strategy building point. Okay, this is how it looks like in Rogue Trader, because you want to control the entire Colonies Expanse sector. In order to level up those colonies, you need to be in a sector on a planet, so you can do it. I hope they're gonna change it for the full release though, that you can do it no matter where you are. Right now, you need to visit the planet to upgrade a colony. Character creation, characteristics, abilities, talents, what is what on a simple human language without complicating stuff. We're gonna start with characteristics. Once you hover over the number of your level, you're gonna see the exact amount of experience that you need for the next level. The green line, that's always called health, in every single CRPG is now called wounds. So do not mix wounds and injuries with health. Wounds are health, okay? So when you see on every item description that it says wounds, it means your health. The first in line in characteristics would be weapon skill. In simple human language, this is your chance to hit and hurt more with melee weapons. Swords, axes, hammers, one-handed or two-handed. The next one in line would be your ballistic skill, or better to say, your chance to hit with ranged weapons. All ranged weapons, from pistols to snipers. Strength is great for skill checks and to deal more damage in melee. Toughness is classic, your main defense characteristic against basically everything that exists in a game. Agility. Agility is there so you can dodge stuff and to have extra movement points. Movement points are extremely important because this is isometric turn-based CRPG. You cover more ground with agility. Intelligence is the most important characteristic because like 7 or 8 skills will go up by +5 for every point that you invest into intelligence. Intelligence covers a lot for skill checks. You should always have one team member with high intelligence in your party for all of those skill checks. Perception, it raises awareness, hence you're gonna spot more strange things along the way during exploration, during conversation. Willpower. Great for everyone that uses psychic abilities. Willpower is one of the most important things in the game. It's how well you resist the materium, the chaos, everything that goes with a warp. Fellowship should be the main stat for every main character that you want to play. The rogue trader, that's a leader characteristic, should always be high on your main. The defensive stats, classic deflection, how much damage you shrug off. Absorption comes after the deflection, additional damage mitigation. Dodge, a classic chance to dodge enemy melee or ranged, it doesn't matter. Resolve is used to build up momentum. Momentum triggers the most powerful skills in the game, like superpowers. Every character has superpowers once he builds up his momentum, including you and of course all of your companions. Skill checks. Right now in Alpha, as far as I know, the two most important skill checks were awareness and demolition. Why? Because you spot traps and then you need to disarm them with demolition. That's what those two do. Awareness, you spot everything that's hidden, basically, not only traps, chests, items, hidden doors, and so on. Demolition, used to break walls with explosives or to disarm traps. Athletics, used to jump from one part to the other one, transfer your entire team, or move heavy objects and make a way to pass. Carouse, it shrugs off negative effects of basically everything in the game. Toxicity, burning, blah blah blah. Persuasion. Persuasion should be always extremely high on your main character, because you're gonna talk a lot in this game and you want to persuade enemies. If you don't want to persuade enemies, you can always intimidate them with coercion. Coercion is actually intimidation during conversations here. Classic intimidate. So you pick between persuasion and coercion. Medicare, how much you can heal and how good of a healer you are. It's not only there to heal up wounds, it's also there to recover injuries. Logic is mostly used through exploration, when you find strange things and you need to use logic to overcome simple puzzles. Now what we got is lore Xenios, lore Warp, and lore Imperium. Every companion will be proficient at something out of these three, okay? And once you accumulate companions to cover all of the three lores, it's good for exploration because you're gonna get extra XP, okay? And you need extra experience so you can level up faster, so you should always have these three covered. Tech use, extremely important in encounters, in basically every curio that you find along the way. Pascal is the master of tech use, so you got a perfect companion to do every tech thing that exists in the game. Commerce, basically trading. You are a rogue trader, so you need high commerce. Weapons, type of weapons. Melee weapons, ranged weapons in the game, plus grenades. All weapons have different damage type. Power weapons, solid weapons, flame weapons, okay, laser weapons, and then you ramp them up with progression, with experience, with leveling into proficiencies. You be proficient with a weapon, which means you're gonna deal more damage with a weapon you're proficient with. It works similar like in Breath of the Righteous. Every enemy has a weak point to some type of weapon damage. So basically, when you have 6 in the party, you should have different weapons on every party member, different type of damage. Same can be said about grenades. You want to equip different type of grenades that deal different type of damage. As far as other stuff goes, armor, helmet, trinkets, and so on, right now it's early to tell. But because it's alpha, but most of them will do specific things. Give an action point, raise some overall skill check by +5 or by +10. Some of them that raise for more than 10 will also give some penalty in return. This is classic, okay? It's a work in progress and I won't waste time explaining the other gear. Speaking about leveling and progression, this is also ungrateful to talk about because there is not a lot okay, you only go from level 15 to level 30, 31, 32, it doesn't matter, it depends how long you play in alpha, but basically that's it, 15, 16 levels to level up. And most of those levels and how it looked like, it's like this. The skill tree, you get to pick what type of tier 2 you wanna be, okay, and then you ramp up skills. How does it go? One leveling goes to the characteristics. You see a plus over here, you level it up. The other one goes towards skills. As you see a plus here, you level something up. The next one will go into picking up a feat, okay? I think they call it ability here, like a feat in Breath of the Righteous, alright? An extra turn, extra attack, or a weapon proficiency, or a new stratagem, or so on, okay? Very basic, very ungrateful to talk about because it's early alpha, but that's how it works. On every level you receive something new, you level up fast, okay? Because I believe this game is gonna be like 100 levels for the max, so you're gonna level up non-stop and have new stuff to do non-stop. I can tell you what they got so far. They got a fighter, classic fighter that can become a vanguard or a veteran, bruiser or a tank. Then they got a leader that can become an assassin or a strategist. Strategist uses stratagems, big AoE buffs for the entire team. Assassin picks up a target and or commands everyone to attack the target that he picked. Adept, magus, okay, psychic, bionic abilities, chain lightning, yelling in enemies' ears basically, okay, reducing their dodge, buffing your dodge, and so on. Classic soldier, it can go to a classic marksman, sniper, or a pure assassin, your choice how you wanna play it. That's what's available right now. Again, this is gonna be 10 times bigger on a full release. This is nothing. How does the combat work? On the left side of the character that's playing are movement points, green. This is the furthest that you can reach on the green tiles. So that would be movement points. On the right side of the character are action points. If you use some specific skills like shooting from afar, you instantly lose all of your movement points. So be careful and strategize of what you want to do. What is the point of this? The point is pretty simple. You want to position yourself first. Then you want to cast buffs and debuffs with a character that's playing. Okay, like, I don't know, you cast a forceful strike with your Inquisitor. You lose one action point, but you kept movement points, and then you get close by enemy and whack them. Because then he's gonna lose all of the movement points. That's how it goes. Here you can also switch weapon sets. Okay, everyone can have 2 different weapon sets, and then you smack the enemy. That's how the game is. You lose movement points once you do it. After you do it, you can always charge to a different one. Okay, it depends on the character you play with basically, but that's how this works. As you use spells and so on, well, thickness can go up because you're breaking the immaterial. Okay, now how does it go? When allies or enemies use psychic powers, that's what chaos likes, and basically you are calling chaos by using psychic powers, and they will make you suffer if you overextend with using your psychic powers. You can spawn a lot of different things around you from the immaterium, and the combat becomes harder and harder. So basically you should avoid casting psychic abilities as much as you can unless it's necessary. That's what whale thickness is. It makes the game harder when you wanna play with OP spells. Now momentum and how it works. You make momentum by killing enemies or by triggering some spells that can raise momentum. Once you build up momentum, it will turn yellow. If you see enemies yellow, that means they also build up momentum and they can also hurt. Once, if momentum drops, there is that last resource spells for every companion or for your main character, okay? Like a last gasp where you can do specific things. So Once it rolls very well, you can cast a spell that's for the victory basically, and once you are fucked, you can roll this one to get out of a difficult situation. That's how momentum works. Half cover and full cover, extremely important in the game. When it's a shield like this, it's a half cover. When it's a skull, it's a full cover. While you are in the cover, the less chance that the enemies will hit you. Simple as that. There are specific feats, spells in the game, abilities that will enhance your damage from the half cover, full cover, or to enhance basically even more your defense during half cover and full cover. That depends on a character you wanna play with. But use and abuse full and half cover. It is extremely important. This game basically works similarly to Wasteland here, so have that in mind. At the end, how you should play during combat. You should always exploit every buff and debuff available before you leave one action point. And with that action point, you're gonna deal damage to enemies. But always exploit all movement points to position into cover, then to give specific buffs, debuffs, your stratagems and so on. And the last thing that you wanna do is shoot or cast a spell at enemies. There's buffs and debuffs, then shooting, okay? Or better to say, rule number 1, position. Rule number 2, buffs and debuffs. Rule number 3, shoot when you have 1 or 2 action points left. That's how you play this game. As far as other things go, initiative, who plays first, positioning before fights, all of that can change because this is early alpha, so I don't want to talk about it. Especially not about the dice rolls, because all of that is still under balancing and under production. It's a work in progress. We talk about the things here that I believe are gonna remain similar or the same. The final thing I wish to speak about, even though it's raw, is the ship combat, spaceship combat. When you see patrols like this, or better to say, when you see red in a system like this, it's enemies. You walk toward them, you fly toward them and you trigger the fight. So how does the ship battle work? As long as your ship, flagship, void ship, is in a 90 degrees like this behind the enemy ship, okay, in the rear, you are safe during their round. That's how it works, and that's the strategy you should use and abuse. Be safe. The next thing that you should always do is to use shields on the side that the enemies are, where you believe they're gonna shoot during their round. Okay, Pascal does it brilliantly. Guard your ship on the enemy round. That's also very important. Whenever you see torpedoes available, you're gonna cast torpedoes. And then on your next round, Argenta will be able to give extra movement point for torpedoes so you can whack your enemies. Always use a warp wave to turn enemy ships on the other side of you. Now they can't reach you in 2 rounds. Once you position and once the situation is like this and you know they cannot react, you can always go with 180 degrees turn and easily shoot them from afar. Plus you are safe for the next round to position again. That's how ship combat works. Simple. Right now, again, it's very raw. I don't want to waste time explaining it further because these things can drastically change along the way. Even in beta, not to mention the full game. This is alpha. If you want to get more familiar with the lore of Warhammer 40k, you got Encyclopedia on the right side where my mouse is. And here you can check every faction, every enemy, everything there is about the game. Right now, again, it's also a very low amount of text. This is gonna be way much bigger on a full release, of course, for additional lore, so you can get to know the game. There are 3 specific things to do in your journal this time. It's not only quests, it's also rumors and orders. Through orders, you can complete them to get extra profit factor by trading resources, basically. And through rumors, you can get additional loot if you go to a specific spot, if you can, of course, detect where the spot is, because you only got a slight clue where it is, but it ain't gonna guide you to the quest. And there are quests that are, let's say, far more clearer than rumors. That's how Journal works. Everything that I said during this beginner's guide for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader is subject to change. I just said the important things and how everything works in a human, simple language without complicating things. Once the beta is out, we're gonna do another one, and of course on a full release, we're gonna do the final guide, also ultimate guide, once the full game is out. All in all, I thank you all for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next one.
Are you ready for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader? Because I am. The Emperor protects.